YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David. It's summer here or the start of summer here in Melbourne, but it is more likely the month of December here. And in the month of December, we start to decandle our black pines. You can see here's some of my black pines that I'll be decandling today. I try and do all my decandling all on the same day. I try, because it's just Christmas time and it's going to get busy, and you just try and get it done. It's very straightforward. Decandling is cutting all the candles off your black pines that are in refinement stage. Remember, these trees are in refinement. They're in a bonsai pot. They're going to be, hopefully in the shows or going into exhibitions in the near future. And if you've got trees like that, you need to cut all the candles off your black pines around this time of year. Better to start on the bigger trees. Now, I haven't got my big trees here because I'll take up too much room, but I'll get to them as well. But I want to show you just how I go through the process. So I pretty much line up all my trees, one after the other on the table and go through them in one go, one day. I try. It's a nice idea to have. So when you decandle, you cut all the candles off. Also, if I find a tree has too many needles in a certain area, I will needle pluck some of those needles. Now, the reason I needle pluck is so I can balance out all the energy in the tree. So by having the same amount of needles roughly all throughout the tree on each branch, think about all the branches and having the same amount of needles. If you have that, the tree will then the roots will then feed the tree kind of evenly, and you should hopefully get the same size buds come up by April, May, when you have to bud select, which is the next process. So that's the intention. So as long as you do the candle cutting on Japanese black pines that are in refinement, that's the most important step to take. Needle plucking, not so important, but really, really important to candle cut. Very easy, very quick. Get yourself some sharp scissors and start at the top and work your way down very quickly. Bang, 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 bang. Cut all the candles off. Now you cut them off I'll show you where you cut them off. You cut them off at this last year's growth. So you'll see the candle and where it's come up freshly, and you see the needles from last season. You just cut off there, and I'll show you a close-up of that as I do it. But just trying to show you quickly, this is my process. You just get through it quickly. I use my left hand and my right hand to cut. So left hand takes them off. Don't need tweezers, that's getting too fancy. Just use your fingers, nice and quick, bang, 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 get it done. The other thing is I cover the surface of the soil if you can. Some of my Cascades I probably don't need to. Cover the surface of the soil with a towel or something. What that does is stop all the needles, etc., getting into the soil. There's less to clean up. I also have a bin right in front of me where I just make sure all the candles go there, otherwise it gets a mess on the floor. So let's get started onto the decandling process of black pines in summer here in Melbourne. Let's start with this Japanese black pine. I really like this tree. It's a nice tree that I'm starting to work on. If you've been following my channel for a while, you would have seen this tree, how I designed it. There's actually a bit of foliage up here, which I ginned off last year. Got nice gins, etc. Nice tree, but it's pretty much these needles are quite big and the candles are quite big. So the intention is to get it smaller and smaller and more compact over the years. So really all I do, I come in, start at the top. Now, because the Cascade kind of is over there, I don't have to really cover the soil. The needles the candles aren't going to come in. But let me give you a close-up of what I do. So there's a good example of a candle. Where my scissors are, that is a candle. See that? Fresh growth into this big area. So fresh growth. See how then there's old needles in there? These are the old needles from last time. So what we do, come in, cut this flush. And use your left hand to pick up the candle. So that's it gone. And where's the cut? You can see it. I'll make sure you can see it. Hang on. So there is nice. You can even flush it if you want. I just have to hold the camera and do it. So at that point, you'll get multiple buds come up by April, May. And you'll be able to bud select back to two buds. Those two buds will then form the new candles of next year, and you repeat the process. So simple process. Go throughout the tree and keep doing that all the way through the tree. It's pretty quick, pretty easy, and you get it done pretty reasonably quickly. So here's how it looks after you just decandle it. Pretty even, needles everywhere. So I won't do a spin rip, but you can see quickly, all nicely taken off. And now we just wait for the new buds. They will come over over summer and autumn, and then we'll do our bud selection in autumn. All right, let's move on to the next tree. So here's the next black pine, very much a Literati style, but you see quite heavy in the needles and candles at the moment. Same process, work our way down from the top down. I'll cover the soil in this instance so it doesn't the needles don't fall in the soil and make a mess. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you a quick turnaround and we'll see how it looks in a minute. So here's how it looks after I have decandled it. So much more improvement, isn't it? Nice and much thinner, more light gets in. Always when you spin it around, also a good idea to look and make sure you haven't missed any while you're doing this process. Sometimes you can miss them, especially on the inside. But yeah, have a good look. Make sure you don't miss too many. But no big deal if you have. All right, on to the next tree. So this is the next one. This is a nice little smaller tree. As I said, I just do them all in one go. So this needs definitely a big one, a big haircut. It's very healthy. The top half is stronger than the bottom, obviously because it gets more sun. But I've got to get this work done as well. So that's beforehand. So this tree was the smallest, but probably took me the longest because there's quite a lot of dense candles in there, quite a lot of dense growth. So I really had to get into it, try and get all the candles out. This is how it looks afterwards. This black pine has a bit of an interesting story. I've had problems trying to get this to flush properly like a black pine. I'm going to give it one more year. I'm going to try it again this year. I've fed it really well this year, this spring season. I'm going to decandle it, fully decandle like a black pine, and see what happens. Now, if it doesn't respond, then it's most likely an Austrian black pine, not a Japanese black pine, because I just have a feeling it doesn't do what a Japanese black pine does. So I'm going to give it one more shot this year and see if it responds with multiple buds at the one cut site. If not, then I think it's an Austrian pine, so I'll have to go back to single flush in terms of dealing with this tree, not a Japanese black pine. So it's quite a nice tree, quite old. I've done a bit of work on it, but you haven't been entirely happy with it. It's got nice flaky bark, but as I said, it hasn't responded like a normal Japanese black pine for the last few years. Now, as I said, given it a lot of feed this year, so that should hopefully mean I'll get a double flush if it's an actual Japanese black pine. So let's give it a go. So the next pine, or the candle, actually looks quite nice, this tree. Nice shape, nice silhouette. Just hasn't really ramified the way I expected black pine to do it. So that's probably my issue at the moment with this, is hasn't really behaved like a black pine. So let's see how it goes this summer and autumn and see if it actually gets the nice multiple buds at the cut site. And we'll have a look at it when it does. Here's another lovely black pine. This one I was tempted not to decandle. The reason was I had to heavily repot this tree in winter, only 3-4 months ago. Now, I tend not to usually do a decandle on these trees if I've repotted. However, just look at it. It's super healthy, super vigorous. I think I have to decandle it. Now, I might be a bit more selective here and only decandle a lot of the heavy growth. If there's weak candles, I'm going to leave them just in this case. So you can probably kind of see really heavy growth, heavy candles in here. And these are a bit weaker, a bit smaller. So I might not cut back as much in here, but I'll cut back heavily in here. So that's the thinking now. I'm not going to, I have repotted only like 5 months ago now. So usually I don't do decandling on these trees, but if I let that grow, it's going to get way out of shape, especially in the apex, and I don't want that to get out of control. So that's my plan. I'm going to balance it out by decandle a lot of this area, decandle the strong in here, but leave any weak small candles in the bottom. So let's see how we go. So here's how the tree looks now. It's quite nice again. It's nice when it gets thinned out. I did leave a little bit more in the weak areas. I left a bit more foliage in here, more needles in here. There I cut back quite heavily, and around the top part of the tree, cut back quite heavily. I left a few more needles in these two sections, and some smaller candles as well. So there you go. That's the next tree done. The next one is this lovely little small cascade or semi-cascade. Quite an old tree, quite an old trunk. Nice semi-cascade look. Nice tree. Just give it a good old haircut. Decandle the tree. Here's what the little one looks like. You can see quite a nice little cascade when I turn it upside on. Try and go to the back. Comes up pretty nice. Now let it just flush out. I'll just do this one last tree. This is like a semi-styled tree with most of the bottom half already styled and already been wired up, except now I'm trying to regrow an apex on this tree, and you can see it's quite heavy up here. So you can also do this work now on these pines as well. So first thing I'll do is I'll actually start at the bottom in this case. So I will take all these candles off all the way down here, and then I'm going to have a look at the apex and see if we can actually do something in this area to start to really think about how I'm going to put this apex in place, because it needed a new apex and I had to grow it on. It's a good time to do this kind of work on pines as well now, so it's a perfect time. So that's what there's some more videos I'll do coming up about actually working on pines at this time of year, cutting back, doing certain things to them. So good time to do it. So I'm going to decandle all this, and we'll have a look at how the apex looks. So after decandling a lot of the tree, which was very vigorous this year, you see the structure's pretty interesting. It's very messy though. Lots of long needles and small needles. I don't think I did all the needle cleanup last year. So I might spend a bit more time on this tree at this time of year. The only issue is this apex. I have tried to put bends and twists into it. Now, the beauty of this is now what I want to try and do is cut this back and try and encourage back budding. So I've got nice little buds here along the lower part of the trunk, the lower part of this apex part. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to cut these back quite heavily, because I'm never going to use this. This is too tall regardless. I really just want an apex in here, nice and small and compact, filling this gap. So I'm going to try and just cut these all back and see if I can get some back budding happening. So I'm just going to go back, because these are made whorls, those like 5 or 4 or 3 in one spot. So I'm going to just try and see if I can cut back heavily and try and encourage back budding as much as possible. So this will eventually probably be gone, but I want to see if I can get back budding in and around this area. You can probably see it's a bit bare. I've got a couple of little small branches happening, small branches. I want to really create a nice real rounded apex in here. This just won't suffice. I don't think I can even bend it in a good way to make it look good. See how it sticks out too much? So I really am going to encourage the back budding happening. It's still a project tree. I've cut it back really hard now, and I hope with all that food going up there, it's going to push it back down and hopefully feed in here. There's so many buds in here that will hopefully grow and make the new apex, and then I can get rid of this part here. So we'll see what happens. The problem why I grew that on is to create some more taper, because the trunk is quite nice and thick, and then gets about here and then gets really thin. So I was growing this to encourage it to make a bigger trunk at the top, and it's doing pretty well. So it's actually not bad now. So I can actually now create the apex part that I want to try and create. So there it is. There's another little project. So you can do that kind of work now in this early summer stage, which is when you decandle, get into the tree, start to really clean it up and get it looking good. Anyway, guys, that was some of my pine collection. I've still got my big pines to go, but I'll just be following the same process and getting it all done. So Hope you guys can see the work, and good luck with it.